An Introduction to Chöd by Venerable Khenchen Thrangu Rinpoche. It is important to know which tradition of teachings Chöd belongs to before one begins. Chöd belongs to the secret Mantrayana, synonymous with Vajrayana, and was brought to Tibet from India within the scope of the 8 chariots of accomplishment by Machik Labdran. One mother, Lamp of the Lab, was born in the region of Lab in central Tibet and lived from 1055 to 1152 AD. It is important to know that Machik Labdran did not invent Chöd, a practice that brings together the essence of the entire teachings on Prajnaparamita that Lord Buddha presented when he turned the wheel of Dharma a second time in Rajgriha, India. Prajnaparamita in Tibetan and means reaching the other shore through the perfection of wisdom awareness, in the sense of having left this shore of dualistic concepts. Prajnaparamita embraces the complete Mahayana teachings of perfect omniscience, the heart of Lord Buddha's realization. The Buddha gave short, middle-length, and long instructions on Prajnaparamita on the occasion of the second Dharmachakra, and meticulously explained insight into emptiness. Chöd combines the Prajnaparamita teachings with the practice of Lojong, mind training. Lojong is the Mahayana meditation system of the early Kadampa school on purifying the mind through self-cultivation and intellectual discipline. Dipamkara Srijana Atisha, the founder of the Kadampa tradition, originally received this as a transmission from his supreme master, Dharmakirti. Atisha brought this great transmission lineage to Tibet and compiled all teachings into his major work entitled The 7 Points of Mind Training. These teachings have been assimilated by all the Tibetan Buddhist schools. Chöd means cutting through, i.e. severing erroneous concepts about the world of appearances and all illusions regarding the existence of a self. The practice of Chöd is an advanced, skillful method that enables practitioners to become free of clinging to false notions and beliefs regarding inherent existence of occurrences and experiences, and therefore of an individual self. Attachment and clinging to a self are forces that give rise to the defilements, which are the source of anguish and pain. Chöd is the practice that enables disciples to understand emptiness of all appearances that are fit to arise and therefore can be apprehended. It is an exceptional practice. One needs to eradicate unfavorable delusions and hindrances and accomplish favorable conditions in order to realize and manifest perfect awakening. Unfavorable conditions are all negative habits that conceal the pure vision of reality. There are 3 types of unfavorable conditions. 1. Delusions caused by past evil deeds. 2. Delusions that are present and manifest as disturbing and therefore harmful emotions. And 3. The delusion of not knowing the true nature of all things. These delusions need to be purified. Furthermore, a disciple needs to accumulate favorable conditions accomplished by practicing the 6 paramitas. Generally, the 6 paramitas that a bodhisattva practices in order to achieve the highest goal of awakening are generosity, ethical conduct, patience, joyful endeavor, meditation, and wisdom awareness. The first paramita, perfection, is transcendent giving that dissipates scarcity and wants that beings living in poverty endure. There are 3 ways to be generous: general, exceptional, and very difficult generosity. 1. General generosity is giving clothes, food, medicine, and other everyday necessities to those who are destitute. 2. Exceptional generosity is additionally giving away precious things that one cherishes very highly to those in need. 3. Extremely difficult generosity is even giving away one's own body. We know from stories about the former lives of Buddha Shakyamuni at times when he was a bodhisattva that he gave away his body or head, which is a very difficult thing to do. Can an ordinary individual do this? Shantideva taught in the Bodhicharyavatara that it is not at all recommendable for someone who has not realized extraordinary wisdom and compassion to give away his or her hands or other bodily parts. We may conclude that it is therefore impossible for ordinary beings like us to be just as generous as the Buddha was in his former lives. But the aspiration to achieve this most difficult kind of generosity is not less beneficial than actually carrying out the act. Therefore, so that doubts and discouragement do not arise, one practices phowa, the practice of transference of consciousness. One imagines that one transfers one's consciousness outside the body and then offers hands and limbs to ghosts, ghouls, evil phantoms, and gods. What is exceptional about giving away one's own body? Why is it really helpful? The size of the offering and the intention are decisive. If both are great, then the benefit will be great. What does this have to do with one's physical body? Nobody will deny that one cherishes and clings to one's body the most. Therefore, giving it away is an exceptional present. Why did Shantideva say that such an act is impossible for ordinary beings? He wrote that it is not such a good thing to do, because ordinary beings are overly attached and habituated to their body. He explained that one may be fascinated by the idea, but when it comes to actually living up to one's intention of giving away one's body or limbs, one loses heart and becomes more than distraught. As a result, regret overwhelms practitioners. When this happens, one discovers that the intention was not such a good idea after all. And so, generously surrendering one's body while practicing Chöd is only imagined, which is already very beneficial. Merely imagining such an act of generosity is therefore a precautionary measure so that there is no danger of regretting and feeling badly when the situation actually presents itself and one backs off. The instructions dealing with the sixth paramita say that prajna, wisdom awareness, needs to be realized in order to achieve supreme awakening. Wisdom awareness is the realization that all appearances in the world and one's life are devoid of inherent existence, i.e., everything is empty of a self-existing nature. The Prajnaparamita Sutra states, "There is no form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no mental formation," and so forth. It is necessary to relinquish all preconceptions and discursiveness that one clings to and nurtures in order to fully realize the empty nature of all things referred to in the above verse. Chöd is a reliable and powerful method of practice to overcome all false assumptions about the world of appearances and experiences. Imagining that one is offering one's body as food to spirits and demons helps a practitioner give up clinging to a self which, in truth, does not exist as supposed. It is so much easier imagining that one is offering one's body to those one loves and admires, offering one's body to those one fears and dislikes, to those deemed enemies and foes, to those who hinder and obstruct any plans one may wish to accomplish is much more difficult. Therefore, the instructions on Chöd suggest that in order to overcome and reliably dispel attachment to a self, one specifically imagines giving one's body to those one dislikes the most, as well as to those who have been helpful and kind in the past. Nyama Paldabam, one of Jetsun Milarepa's very close disciples, approached him and asked, "You have received good instructions, but when one has received instructions, one needs to go into the mountains to practice. What kind of Dharma practice have you done?" In reply, Milarepa sang of outer, inner, and secret Chöd, in which one cuts through one's attachment to the self more efficiently each time. He sang, "External Chöd is to wander in fearful places where there are deities and demons. Internal Chöd is to offer one's own body as food to the deities and demons. Ultimate Chöd is to realize the true nature of the mind and cut through the fine strand of hair of subtle ignorance. I am the yogi who has these 3 kinds of Chöd practice. The instructions that Milarepa offered Nyama Paldabam are recounted in the 100,000 Songs of Milarepa. Jetsun Milarepa taught that Chöd is entwined with the syllable phet, the Sanskrit metaphor for cutting through. Machig Labdron did not translate the mantra into Tibetan because it embodies the essence of all teachings. Jetsun Milarepa went into great detail and explained that there are 3 ways to cut through clinging to a self. The practice of outer phet enables a practitioner to gather and bind the mind, allowing him or her to hold the mind steadily and stop it from going astray. Inner phet allows a practitioner to dispel delusions and drowsiness, and secret phet enables a sincere practitioner to fathom the depths of everything that can be apprehended, so that most subtle levels of clinging to a self are cut. Many thoughts of hatred, lust, pride, jealousy, etc. arise in the mind, sometimes so overwhelmingly strong that it is impossible to hold or focus one's mind during meditation, becoming lost in distractions instead. Anger, for instance, arises very often and is usually directed towards someone who threatens one's physical existence. When situations like this occur, imagining that one is giving one's own body to those who are angry and threaten one's life severs attachment to a self. Then the mind is collected. Therefore, outer phet is the practice of maintaining a steady mind so that thoughts do not carry one away. Inner phet serves to dispel dull states of mind. Heavy and wild thoughts distract more obviously than subtle thoughts, but drowsiness and dullness also lead astray. Mental dullness, even unconsciousness, which are based upon attachment to a truly existing self that purports to possess a truly existing body, can reliably be overcome through the practice of Chöd. So the inner mantra is the practice of eradicating mental dullness. Secret or true phet is the practice that opens the door to realization of mind's true nature through wisdom awareness. It is not utterly hard or impossible to learn that all outer and inner appearances lack inherent existence, i.e., are empty of a self-entity. It is easy to logically deduce that forms, sounds, etc. lack independent existence, are mere appearances that arise in dependence upon other things, and are therefore fit to be designated by a mind that apprehends them. It is much more difficult to actually realize emptiness of appearances, though. Practicing the true mantra enables a practitioner to realize that an independently existing self is not established through its own right or of its own accord, and therefore does not really exist, the connotation of the term emptiness. Furthermore, true mantra enables a fervent disciple to experience that, due to emptiness, i.e., lack of impediments for spatial existence to arise when conditions prevail, it is not the case that nothing is present when appearances do arise and things happen. So realizing the true mantra means experiencing the presence of clarity and radiant precision, i.e., realizing that the mind and all things are not only empty of inherent existence, but are clear and radiant when they arise, abide, and cease. Realization engenders and increases one's confidence in and certainty of the fact that things are not only empty of self-existence, but are also clear and distinct when they arise, truly experienced when the secret mantra of cutting through has been accomplished. In daily practice, Chöd means surrendering one's body. Once in a while, practitioners organize a big party and celebrate a feast called Chöd Ganachakra in Sanskrit.